Time to make fun of the UK. We're starting with Count Dankula. Police use Orwellian powers to basically silence this dude for speaking out about his arrest. Let's go.
Police use Orwellian powers to gag firefighter who was arrested after criticising his bosses online. And this is a pretty Orwellian story, so buckle up. Police used Orwellian powers to gag a firefighter who was arrested after criticising his bosses online. It has been...
Bro, America is so fucking great. Like, I know we got our issues. All countries got their issues. But, man, you know how many times I've talked shit about a boss or a job or a fellow employee or whatnot on whether it be Facebook back in the day or X or anything? Like, the idea that you could be arrested for venting about your fucking boss publicly. Dude. Bro, the UK is so fucked, we are going to need to rename the entire country to just Mia Khalifa. Like, just rename the entire country the United Kingdom of Mia Khalifa. That's how fucked you guys are.
Claimed. Robert Moss was allegedly told by Staffordshire Police that his right to freedom of expression must be limited to maintain public safety and order after he was arrested on suspicion of malicious communications on July the 8th. The police accidentally said the quiet part out loud because basically, remember when I says that people get to, whenever people point out the bad and dodgy things that the police and the government are doing, that makes society very, very angry, and society might lash out and go after the government for it. Right, so the government is now at the point where they're just admitting the point of the speech laws, like, look, you're not allowed to tell people about the dodgy thing that we've done because it might make people rise up against us. Right?
I mean, these are legit control tactics 101, dude. The moment, all right, here's why the Second Amendment is so goddamn important in America. Because the Second Amendment protects that First Amendment. Now, frankly, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna say something that might be a little bit dicey here, might give me a little bit of trouble, but Americans should have started exercising their Second Amendment rights on the government a whole lot longer ago. We've been let shit going down from the government since the 60s that we ought not have let gone down. People forget the Second Amendment not just for fucking hunting deer and shit. Not for making sure that we can, bust the cat dude, the black dude who breaks into your house. No, it's supposed to be to make sure the government is fucking terrified of you. Now, that being said, we can at least still criticize them bastards. We can at least still criticizing them bastards. Like, the idea that the UK is just like, you know what? We're gonna arrest you for criticizing us. That is some China shit, dog. That is some straight up China shit. And y'all are just letting it happen. Y'all just letting it fucking happen. It's mind-blowing, dude.
Right, that's them. This is it. The quiet part is now being said out loud.
Oh, look at that. Ghost 101 acknowledging he doesn't watch my videos, only my streams. That's literally what my video today was about. It seems like you got some homework when the stream's over, son.
Result and purpose of all speech laws. The government doesn't want you pointing out the bad things that it's doing because that makes people rise up against it and threaten the government's power.
And here's what you do. You continue to threaten their power. Schizosaurus is asking what are they supposed to do. They're a disarmed population. Guess what? Your bitch-ass cops, so far as I can tell, are also disarmed. They got fucking billy clubs and shit. You know what you do? You storm the motherfucking government. I'm gonna call for it. I'm gonna call for incitement or whatnot, because guess what? You can't do shit to me, UK government. I'm in America, and we don't extradite this bitch for our free fucking speech. So yeah, you motherfuckers protest, and then you know what? I'm not saying go full Malcolm X, but the dude made some good points. The dude may have been onto something. His methods seem like they'd make more sense in the UK than Martin Luther King Jr. shit. Sunday Woofer at Two Banger says, wait, you make videos?
That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid.
I can't tell if that's a joke or not. If that's not a joke, yeah, y'all better be watching my fucking videos, not just streams. I literally make daily videos. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, dude, yes, 100%. You people in the UK need to make your fucking government fear you.
This is it. We've arrived at the quiet
It's not
parts now,
turning
like,
into a
we've
police
arrived
state.
at that
It is
stage
a
now.
police state.
It took us a few decades, but we're here now. Prior to his dismissal in 2021, the former firefighter, 56, had served Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service for 28 years and even worked as the county's fire brigade union secretary.
Oh, thank you for the clarification,
An employment
Pat.
tribunal in 2023 later found that he had been wrongly dismissed from his position, with a judgment ruling it had been an unfair decision. Following this, in a private Facebook group, the father of one had provided advice to firefighters alongside making several critical comments regarding the fire services management. At a bail hearing held at Newcastle Underline Magistrates Court, the police's gagging clause was eventually overturned due to concerns about the draconian approach by the officers. Please don't point out the fact that we are violating your human rights right now, because that makes people very angry, and we don't like it when people know we're the bad guys.
Dude, a gag law. That's insane. I know y'all can say, oh, you guys have gag laws in America. Yeah, they're temporary. You're not allowed to, maybe while you're going through trial or whatnot, you're not allowed to post on social media about X, Y, Z. They're not fucking permanent. It's a temporary suspension for extreme cases. Like, that's... Dude, how y'all... I don't ever want to hear the UK criticize China and their human rights violations again. Oh, what's China doing to the Uyghur Muslims? Those mothers, sorry. Oi, mate, what's China doing to them Uyghur Muslims in them that camps, right? You shut the fuck up, Keir Starmer, you fucking like, you guys are doing the same shit, but with a different accent.
While Mr. Moss was never charged with a crime, his home was raided at 7 a.m. in July, with officers seizing 2 telephones, an iPad and a computer. He was then given bail with 6 conditions that included being prohibited from posting any communication relating to the county's fire service, alongside anything related to the ongoing investigation. Basically, again, it's the end result of speech laws. You can't point out the dodgy shit the government's doing. They want the populace completely oblivious and ignorant, while it just slowly...
I wouldn't be surprised by that, Schizo.
With barbed wire on top of it all around them. Stop pointing out the dodgy stuff. Mr. Moss was also prohibited from contacting the fire chief officer, Rob Barber, and his deputy, Glenn Lusnage. What a name. Now the former firefighter has criticised Staffordshire Police's decision to arrest him, telling the Telegraph that the online messages were certainly not criminal, but rather anodyne. Mr. Moss went on...
Yeah, why would they be criminal? Why the fuck would being in a private Facebook group, or maybe it's a public Facebook group, I don't remember which, but I think they said it was private here. Either way, why would it be criminal to vent, or talk shit, or even criticize? Like... At this point, it goes beyond not criticizing the government. Well, I guess, okay, I'm going to need what you UK viewers let me know, because I doubt your guys' fire departments and whatnot are private. You know, even in the US, they're not private. They're government jobs. So technically, you are still criticizing the government when you're criticizing, you know, the fire force or whatnot. But even so, that shit should still be allowed. Bro, imagine if you got yourself a fire situation, right? And due to the incompetency of your firefighters, several motherfuckers that could have been saved died. Because of the incompetency of your higher-ups, your leaders. And what? You can't criticize them for that, saying, hey, all these people, let's say these 6 people that died in the fire, whose families are now grieving, we could have done more. Direct your anger at this individual because they prioritize their safety or chain of command or whatnot over the lives of others. Yeah, that's it. When this happened in America, when the Uvalde shit went down, and those weak ass beta bitch male fucking police officers prioritized their own safety instead of the safety of children, guess what we did? For months, we put those losers on fucking blast. Because they are spineless pieces of human garbage. They are the cops. They are the ones that are supposed to run into the gunfire because no one else is able to do it. They're the ones that take an oath to put their life on the line for the protection of the populace, especially children. And these spineless fucking troglodytes prioritize their own safety over the safety of children. And you know what? We eviscerated them. Those bitch-made losers. Now, imagine something similar happens in the UK, but with the fire force or whatnot, because, you know, you guys don't have school shootings, you don't have guns or whatnot. And you can't call them out for it. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
To accuse the fire service of weaponizing the police in a bid to silence him, adding that the gagging order represented a human rights
I saw
breach.
that fact.
Now, from personal experience, right, a lot of people don't know my dad was a firefighter his entire life, pretty much. And he ended up getting so when he's talking about fire management.
Yeah, I mean, so Matt Stanford, I am, you know, you're talking to an ex-cop, if I'm gonna be real here, and I agree with you. I do. Not a fan of the police. Why? Because they're dogs of the government.
He's talking about my dad. My dad's long since retired now. But I'm not going to say anything that my dad's told me, right? But I witnessed the firefighter rugby team versus the police rugby team. And my dad was playing.
All right. Now, this might be a controversial statement, but here in America, if he says the police team won, I'm going to be so just sickened. Because the firefighters fucking dog walk the police officers in our annual football games and whatnot. Dog walk them.
And they don't fucking like each other. Like, the fire service and the police don't like each other very much. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that. Few people had to run onto the pitch and break a few things up. But anyway, during the magistrate's court hearing, Mr. Moss went on to... I've just read that, actually. During the magistrate's court hearing, Tom Beardsworth, a barrister hired by the Free Speech Union, said that two of Mr. Moss's bail conditions represented a deep threat to the right of free expression, which it absolutely does. He added, for the police to prohibit an arrested person from speaking about their arrest is extraordinary and Orwellian, and it is not hyperbole to put it in those terms. No, it's definitely not. We do not live in a police state, and Mr. Moss should have every right to speak about his arrest.
I mean, I hate to say it, but based on my video from earlier, where a motherfucker got arrested for simply saying we love bacon, yes, you guys do live in a police state. The UK is absolutely a police state. With one exception. The UK is a police state unless you happen to be a filthy fucking goat fucking 9-year-old girl Muslim.
However, arresting officer...
Bro,
DC
I clipped this into a
Holiday
video. I'm going to have to
says
throw
that
in
the
so
bail
many
conditions
bleeps.
had been proportionate given the malicious and reckless online posts by Mr. Moss. This person votes Labour. I can just tell. I can always tell. See, when it comes to a person's opinions on human rights, especially towards the natives, I can always tell who they vote for. But anyway, following the evidence, Paul Tabanor, chairman of the magistrate's bench, ruled that while Mr. Moss would be permitted to post messages about the fire service, he was no longer banned from posting about the police investigation.
Fab.
Sam Armstrong, the FSU's Legislative Affairs Director, described Mr. Moss's case as amongst the most egregious abuses of state power the organisation had come across. And yeah, he's with the FSU now, the Free Speech Union. A spokesperson for...
Bro, if there's two things that should not go together, free speech and union, because unions are goddamn terrible. I know union probably means something different in the UK and whatnot, but also, y'all don't have fucking free speech, so whatever.
Staffordshire Police said we arrested a 56-year-old man from Newcastle-under-Lyme on Tuesday, 8th July, on suspicion of harassment without violence, sending communication/article of an indecent/offensive nature, and knowingly/recklessly obtain or disable personal data without consent of the controller. So basically, he sent an offensive message online. Who's being arrested for offensive speech? Fucking lots of people. In fact, there's probably so many more that we don't know about because they've been banned from talking about it now.
No, not only that, not only they've been banned from talking about it, but watch my video from earlier. This isn't just a shameless self-plug. Watch my video from earlier. Not only are motherfuckers being banned from talking about it lightly based on this story, but Google is not showing search results for shit like this. I lay out verifiable proof in my video from earlier.
The man has been released on conditional bail as our inquiries continue. Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service said it would be inappropriate to comment during the active proceedings. Mr. Moss's dismissal is believed to be the latest in a string of heavy-handed police responses over thought crimes, with writers, counsellors and parents talking in school WhatsApp groups targeted in recent months. Just last week, Ring doorbell footage emerged of an embarrassed police officer reluctantly knocking on a suspected anti-migrant protester's door amid an increased backlash over the scourge of thought police. Now, no, it's just so that we can monitor people, so that we can gauge if there's going to be a riot or not. We're not going to arrest people. They're fucking immediately sending police to people's doors for anti-migrant sentiment. Immediately. It didn't even take a week. Didn't even take a week for that to start.
Let's stop calling them migrants. Let's call them what they are. Fucking invaders. Invaders from an inferior fucking culture. I'll say what Asmongold won't. To be fair, that's a cheap shot. Asmongold, he probably didn't mean his apology, if I'm being honest. But again, let's be real. Invaders from an inferior culture that are systematically destroying your country. Like, dude, you guys are fighting your own personal World War II here. World War II is known as a war on two fronts. Why? Because we had the Japs and we had the Nazis. Bro, you guys got your own politicians and you got them filthy Muslims.
Doorbell footage shows two West Midlands police officers approaching the property in Coventry to give the homeowner a leaflet ahead of a planned anti-immigration demonstration. But one of the officers is hesitant to carry out the task and admits his visit is woeful and a load of bullshit. There are police officers that are sick of this shit. They hate it. They don't like it. And again, yeah, just following orders and all that, but still, I think the police should go on strike about this stuff. The police everywhere should just mass go, we're not arresting anyone for that shit anymore. I think that's what they should do. Speaking into a Ring doorbell, the police officer tells the homeowner, Warwickshire have asked me to come around. It's a load of bullshit, but it's about this protest tomorrow in Warwickshire. They're aware that you might be wanting to attend that planned protest.
Correct, Matt.
And obviously, that's absolutely fine. You've got a freedom of speech, and there are no issues at all. But at least the police.
I love the lie that the UK media keeps telling people that you got freedom of speech. Dude, in the article I covered today, they said the same thing. Like, repeat a lie enough, and it just becomes real. Right? You start to believe it. The bold-faced lie that the UK has freedom of speech. You don't. This is crazy.
Police officers kind of been nice about it. The spokesperson for West Midlands Police told the Daily Mail, we're aware of footage circulating on social media showing an officer visiting a property. The footage is being reviewed and we are speaking to the officer in relation to the circumstances. He said the guy's freedom of speech. He's just sort of going like, my boss has told me to come down here and give you this. I see no problem with that whatsoever. And the police are like, no. You have to defend the law. You have to violate human rights. You have to have a great big fucking grin on your face while you do it. The visit was part of the work our officers have been doing to support Warwickshire Police in their engagement in preparations for a planned protest in Warwickshire this weekend. Meanwhile, in November 2023, a retired policeman was arrested and handcuffed in his own home in May by 6 police officers armed with batons and pepper spray. Julian Fuchs from Gillingham was detained by Kent police cops, the very same force he had given around 10 years of his life to, after he questioned a supporter of pro-Palestine demonstrations on X. So he was arrested over a tweet. Body cam footage of the incident in November 2023 shows officers describing the 71-year-old's books and literature scattered around his home as very Brexity things, according to the Telegraph. Do you have...
I thought y'all wanted Brexit. Oh my god. This is amazing. Dude was like, hey, maybe I don't know how I feel about the idea of, these Muslims that decided to spend all the money that was given to them by Israel to, instead of using it with the populace, build their own homemade missiles and shoot them into another country just purely on the basis of them being Jews. Like, it's so hard not to sound pro-Israel when I'm really not, when it comes to the fucking way you guys are draconianly acting in the UK for people just questioning Free Palestine. Because again, I'm America first. I don't give a fuck about Israel, Palestine. I don't. To a different extent, semi give a fuck about the UK. And the reason I semi give a fuck about the UK is because there is a bit of a kinship there, right? Like, we saved you guys from World War II, and we're pretty awesome. You guys did some shitty things back in the past. We threw your tea in the harbor. All of our farmers with pitchforks beat the shit out of your regiment in redcoats. And you know what? We're chill. We're buddies. We supposedly have similar ideas of culture. You gave us James Bond. You gave us Harry Potter. I'm more inclined to give a fuck about the UK than I am anything in the Middle East. I still don't fully give a fuck, with the exception of when this mentality bleeds into the US, which it has. When I say we all, as in these countries, have seats at the World Economic Forum, and your billionaires and our billionaires are both colluding with one another on how to subjugate both of us, I do care because we have a common enemy. But by fucking God, is it so hard to give a shit when y'all, like I don't want to say you brought this on yourselves, because I imagine the majority of the UK are not fans of this. But they also have no recourse. They can't speak up because they're being put in fucking prison for disagreeing with their goddamn government. It's a fucking shame, man. It's a shame.
Have very Brexity things in your home, citizen. Oh, are you right wing? We can't have that. That's definitely going to get you some
that was my
extra time on your sentence.
yeah,
Being right wing can
about
actually
Brexit.
get you extra time added on your sentences, by the way. Yeah. That's why I tell people, don't. You are big boys and girls and you can own the animal.
I mean, look, I can't say much, Fab. I can't. Because America, in many respects, is just as much an embarrassment. Maybe not to you guys, but we're an embarrassment to our founding ideals. We're an embarrassment to our founding principles. And that is just as sickening. Maybe not just as sickening because, our accent is better, but in theory, it's just as sickening.
America's cookbook, but holy shit, if you get arrested for anything, that's 3 years added onto your sentence if you own that shit. But anyway, police also raised worries over a shopping list written by the retired man's hairdresser wife, which included items such as bleach, tinfoil and gloves, whilst they seized Mr. Fook's electronic devices from his home. Sounds like someone was getting their hair done. Ooh, scary. Bleach, tinfoil and gloves, those aren't things you just find around anybody's house now. Like, fucking, I hate police. I hate modern police. They also searched through most of his personal items, including newspaper clippings from the funeral, as well as the police probe of his daughter, Francesca's death, who had been killed by a drunk driver whilst holidaying in Ibiza 15 years ago. A police officer was heard stating, according to the publication, that's sad, as she continued to rummage through the retired...
What a piece of shit! What a piece of shit!
Special constable's items before he was put in a police cell for 8 hours. After hours of interrogation on suspicion of malicious communications, Mr. Fuchs accepted a warning as he was worried it could affect any future visits to see his daughter, who resides in Australia. Oh yeah, Australian border force are way over the fucking top when it comes to shit like that.
I don't know that you got much room to talk, Valiant Goat. At least at one point in time, the Brits used to conquer motherfuckers. Who are the last people the Canadians conquered? Just saying.
My life wouldn't be worth living if I couldn't see her. At the time, I believed a caution wouldn't affect travel, but a conviction definitely would, he said. Kent police later confessed the decision to give Mr. Fuchs a caution was a mistake and have it wiped off the 76-year-old's record. All because he argued with a Palestinian person on fucking Twitter. Mr. Fuchs has since aired his concerns on what he believes to be an attack on freedom of speech, quipping, "I saw Starmer in the White House telling Trump we've had it in the UK for a very long time, and I thought, yeah, right, we can see what's really going on." Yeah, Starmer just flat out lied to everyone. That's what he does. The 76-year-old's ordeal started when Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, which saw 1,200 people killed and over 250 taken hostage, an incident which sparked several pro-Palestine marches in London. The retired policeman had been told by his Jewish friends about how they felt unsafe travelling in the bustling city. Later that October, he had become increasingly worried about having reports of mobs storming...
Oh, we got Canadians and UK motherfuckers fighting in the comments. Let's go, son. Laughs in American.
an airport in Dagestan, Russia, to intercept Israeli citizens. So the next day, when he saw a post from an account called Mr. Ethical, which read, "Dear Suella Braverman, as someone who was on one of the hate marches, if you call me an anti-Semite, I will sue you," he felt inclined to respond. He responded to the tweet saying, "One step away from storming Heathrow looking for Jewish arrivals." That is the most basic bitch fucking thing ever as well. That is the most basic bitch thing ever. He claimed he had never been in contact with the account prior and was warning of possible escalation with the ongoing pro-Palestinian protests. That is the most basic shit ever, and they did all of that to him over that. Basically, the violation of human rights, human speech rights by police is just getting extreme. Now, it's getting extreme. And the FSU, even though Toby and all that didn't want anything to do with me because they were all pro-free speech, but they don't like me being a spicy boy and all that. So
hey, that's almost exactly what you said, Fab, in the comments, is that they didn't want him because he was spicy.
Anything to do with me. I still think they do good work. They do actually help people out. They do actually have lawyers on hand, and they attend people's like employment tribunals and all this stuff to help people out. So they do good work, right? And I hope they continue to keep doing good work. And they're definitely going to have their work cut out for them with police officers like this. Right, it's becoming a fucking joke now, where we had grooming gangs going untouched for decades. Like, no burglaries are getting solved. I think there's like a few dozen police forces getting investigated because in a 1 year period, not a single one of them solved a single burglary. But they're very happy to fucking go after people for fucking posting tweets or saying mean things on the internet or making fun of people in the fire service.
That was amazing, but we're not done yet. We got a whole ass another video to dunk on the UK with. Let's go.
So protests are continuing to break out all across Great Britain over the ongoing migrant situation.
More of this. We want to see more of this. You want to know why? Because I can't arrest y'all, motherfuckers. You want to know how I know they can't arrest y'all? Because guess what? Our dumbass cops here in America couldn't even arrest all the Antifa motherfuckers. And our cops actually have guns and shit. And even they couldn't arrest all the Antifa bitches. So yeah, guess what? These bozos with billy clubs can't arrest y'all. More of this, UK. Let's go.
As well as Keir Starmer and general distaste towards him. And in this video, we've got some very interesting and or disturbing updates and developments to go over related to all that stuff. So you might recall a video I made a few days ago about Prime Minister of UK Keir Starmer getting called out by the White House. And a part of that video was going over a situation that is still developing, which is why we're talking about it again in this video. But the situation involved a migrant entering a woman's house and then a bunch of people getting upset with this migrant. Police were called. No action was taken against the migrant at that point in time, and the migrant was escorted safely back to the hotel that the migrant was staying at, which is apparently one of these 4-star migrant hotels that they get taxpayers to pay for. Now, the new information that's come out is absolutely insane. You see, it turns out that allegedly the woman's house, or excuse me, the woman living in the house that was entered, she's blind and recently returned from the hospital, and her daughter is...
Oh, dude, this story kicks ass. Yeah, I read this story. The daughter... walked in, found the migrant feeling up her blind mother, full gross Muslim hand on the fucking pussy area, and the daughter decided to just, get a gang together and storm the motherfucking migrant hotel with knives, because you basic bitches can't have guns. This is that rebellious spirit that your boy loves to see. This is a Billy Idol Rebel Yell shit. Let's go.
Acting also as her caretaker. And the daughter finds this migrant in the house, allegedly pleasuring himself to the blind mother, and gets chased out of the house. Crowd of people began talking about what happened, trying to go after the migrant. As mentioned, the police get called, etc., etc.
But of course, that dumbass loser actor, who admittedly is a very good actor, he's a fucking loser. Oh, what's his name? The guy that played Knuckles, Idris Elba, is like, we need to change guns, right? We need to change knives to get rid of the tips so they can still cut, but they can't stab. Dumb motherfucker.
But it gets even crazier because apparently the woman later on, the caretaker, the daughter specifically, later on took a meat cleaver or something of the sort, went over to the migrant hotel, began banging the cleaver on the fence, And she was later arrested, and now it's this whole giant thing that has quickly been proliferating more and more. And protests are sparking across the UK in part because of this situation, but also just the general distaste that people have towards Keir Starmer and what he's doing and or not doing, and also the ongoing migrant situation as a whole in the UK. And then on top of all that, there's been a double standard in the media with how it's being covered. For example, the BBC wrote an article, which I'll show you later on this video, where they name the daughter and don't give any sort of name for the migrant. Now, to be fair, I don't know if this has
to be fair, they probably didn't give a name for the migrant because one of two things. One, it's impronounceable gobbledygook, or two, his name's fucking Muhammad. They're all named Muhammad.
Do with the, like, governmental proceedings, or however you'd put it, in the UK, if, like, they didn't release the name, so the media's not releasing the name because they literally don't know who it is. Or if they do know who it is and they're just protecting the migrant. Either way, it seems like the migrant is...
They know exactly who it is. They're protecting the migrant. The option one, I mean, again, is not a 0% chance, but it's a damn near 0% chance. They know who this fucking migrant is. They're just more preoccupied with protecting his bitch ass than actually doing anything about the fact that he broke into a blind woman's house and felt up her goddamn pussy. Sickening shit.
Or the media, or potentially both. And I just find the double standard very odd, where they're not giving the public that dude's name, but they are releasing the woman's name. One more key bit of information. Some people are saying that there was a crowd chasing the migrant, and the migrant ran into the house, and that's how that happened, which doesn't explain the claims about the whole, thing, the act that was taken in the house and all of that stuff.
Correct, Matt.
The woman's
Exactly.
lawyers presenting in her defense. But others are...
You never see a black guy named, Wyatt doing this shit.
Disputing that, saying that there was no crowd initially, that the migrant was on his own and went into the house on his own. And then after this all went down, that's when the crowd of people began to appear, going after the migrant in retaliation, so to speak, for those actions at the house and all that. Along with all that new information, there's also been new video clips of this stuff released, and that takes us to this video by GB News.
Giving us more information about some seriously concerning
reports
coming out of the Britannia Migrant Hotel in Canary Wharf. Yesterday, concerns grew after a man believed...
Bro, this fucking migrant hotel, if that's what we're looking at right now, is the migrant hotel, like, from an exterior point of view, looks nicer than some of the fucking apartments, not just here in the U.S., but some of the apartments that I've seen you Brits are in. Like, what the fuck? I mean, granted, the ones in America are nicer inherently because, we actually have air conditioning, but even so.
To be an asylum seeker at the hotel, allegedly tried to enter a woman's home nearby. But some people said that they thought he'd been, chased there, apparently. He'd sought refuge there because he was being chased by people. Onlookers claimed that the man left the migrant hotel and attempted to just simply get into a lady's home. So what we've got there is conflicting information, haven't we? Well...
Now he's trying to cover his face, look.
That was the moment there that people who...
You want to would be based? You want to would be actually based to not have his face blurred out so that we can get some good old-fashioned justice, U.S., West style.
Who thought they'd seen that man try and get into a lady's house, accosted him on the street. Now, the people who claim to have accosted this man then published a video making some quite serious allegations about what they thought they saw.
We follow him up the road to where we jump out and say, like, mate, what are you doing? You can't be doing this sort of stuff. He runs up the road to Marsh.
Absolute retard right here. This dude in the video talking to whoever this is, whether it be a cop, whether it be a reporter, absolute dipshit. Why? Because you're a white dude in the UK, which means you're going to get in trouble just for talking about this. What do you mean you saw a migrant committing a crime? You're going to jail for hate speech. Sorry, Crowley.
Where we follow him. We then detain him. We don't touch him. We phone the police.
Then this video emerged of police officers appearing to suggest that no crime had been committed.
What a fucking shock!
Video that we played a few days ago here on the channel. So if you saw that segment, you should be familiar with this one.
Unhappy about the Street, but we have no allegations to arrest him for Okay, I understand that that's not something you want to hear, but unfortunately, there's only so much we can do, and obviously...
Like I said when I covered it, though, the audio is really scuffed, so I'm going to skip ahead. You know, police are just, as mentioned, essentially saying that this guy didn't really do anything wrong.
Being arrested outside the hotel. Urged of a woman. Well, then social media erupted again after a video emerged of a woman seemingly being arrested outside the hotel.
Agreed, Schizosaurus.
There was another video that also appeared, which seemed to show a younger lady being nicked on top of that. So, look, it led to a lot of public anger, this, because for some people, it looked a lot like an asylum seeker who may have walked into someone's home, was not...
GB News is also controlled by Ofcom, so aren't to be trusted. I used to watch GB News when it first came out. They tried to be free speech, but ultimately cat down to Ofcom. Sounds to be like our version of Fox News. Fox News is literally just the controlled opposition for the left-leaning media, for the liberal, for the liberal agenda-controlled media. So yeah, I completely believe that.
...arrested, whereas a woman demonstrating outside the hotel was arrested. And this morning, the Metropolitan Police released this statement. They say, "We understand a man entered a property through an open door, having been followed
the only
by a group of
asylum they
men
belong
the
in is an
streets.
actual
The
fucking
man has
asylum."
not been arrested at this time, as our initial investigation has not identified
Oh, I don't doubt
any
they're worse.
offences. We understand this is distressing for the occupants."
What? Oh my gosh, bro. What like, how do you even describe that? That's so heartless. Like, we understand it's distressing for the occupants. It almost seems like insulting for them to say that after the inaction they've taken on this whole matter.
In a separate incident following this, a 22-year-old woman was arrested on suspicion of common assault against a security guard, possession of an offensive weapon, a fray, possession of Class B drugs, and an assault on an emergency worker. They go on to say, a Section 35 dispersal order was put in place in the vicinity of the area, and a 28-year-old man and a 57-year-old woman were arrested for breaching the order.
So basically the cop said, hey, everyone, we need to protect this invader, so we're going to tell you to disperse. You can't gather in the common area of your home, your homeland, your country, your city. No, everyone go back home so that we can protect this invader. And when two brave motherfuckers said, screw you, this is our home, this is our land, what the fuck are you going to do about it? The police said, we're going to arrest you, you damn cunts. Sound more Australian than British, but what's the fucking difference? You're both draconian.
This is a complex set of events, and we are working hard to investigate and understand what happened. I must say, I find this all very, very odd.
Yeah, it's almost hard to follow. Well, not almost. It is a bit hard to follow along because everything is like coming out in pieces, and it's such a bizarre situation.
In the context of what police and the Home Secretary told us that we'd be getting yesterday. They said that we'd have more information about the ethnicity and nationality of a perpetrator if it was a high-profile case. Well, here we are, aren't we?
I would like somebody to explain to me how a dude breaking into the home of an elderly blind woman, or maybe not elderly, but a higher up in age blind woman, and forcibly rubbing her pussy with his dirty, greasy, gross migrant hand is not high profile. How is your regular, everyday, disabled citizenry being molested not high profile? What is high profile? Oh, that's right. Arresting motherfuckers for posts on X. You dumb, spineless dicks.
Yeah, I think at this point it's like pretty high profile. I mean, it's caused protests across the UK, which the protests are also, to be fair, involved with general distaste towards Keir Starmer and what he's been doing or not doing and the asylum/migrant situation overall. But this particular situation is also a huge part of what's been going on recently too.
This is a very high...
And I'm seeing people across the world covering this, like myself and others as well, talking about the situation. So I think you can make a fair argument that at this point it's pretty high profile, really.
Profile.
Yeah, high profile. Catcalling undercover female cops wearing outfits explicitly designed to elicit catcalls. Yup.
Court told. A woman tried to force her way into a hotel housing migrants after one of its residents walked into her blind mother's flat, a court has heard. Shanae Augustus, 22, was part of a group of around 20 people who tried to barge into the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf, East London, on Wednesday evening, it is alleged.
Which, by the way, they should be allowed to do. They should absolutely be allowed to barge in there. Why? They're the ones fucking paying for it. Their tax dollars, which taxation is theft, by the way, but even so, their taxes are the ones paying for it. Best I can tell, they have partial ownership. They should be able to go wherever they good goddamn please.
Canary Wharf being one of the so-called 4-star hotels that migrants are being put up into. But what I really want to point out here is they're not releasing the name of the migrant, but they're releasing the first and last name of the woman who was upset with the actions allegedly taken by the migrant, which just makes it seem like the BBC is essentially, quote unquote, defending the migrant in a way. And I'm saying that a little bit loosely, but it's odd that they're not releasing the migrant's name, but they'll release Shanae's first and last name.
And age.
Why the double standard there? What exactly is up with that? And so the BBC goes on to say the migrant who entered the flat, who was in his early 20s, has been arrested on suspicion of assault, the Metropolitan Police said. So that's one update. Apparently the guy did end up getting arrested for a suspicion of assault, allegedly.
Yeah, guess what? And he'll get a slap on the wrist if anything happens at all, and he's going to be back on the streets molesting more blind women within the next 48 hours. Arrest on suspicion of assault. This is made to fucking placate people who are rightfully outraged.
Trouble started when she discovered a migrant inside her mother's flat, a 5-minute walk away from the hotel, the court heard. After chasing the man away, she went to the hotel at around 1800 BST, where she confronted a security guard who was trying to calm her down. The hearing was told she returned a short time later with a meat cleaver and started banging it on a metal barrier outside the hotel. She was later arrested at her home. Miss Augustus of Tower Hamlets was remanded into custody to appear at Snaresbrook Crown Court on September 12th. The hotel has been the focus of protests in recent weeks. Once again, I don't understand why they are releasing her name and her information, but nothing about the migrants.
Oh, I understand why. I understand completely why. It's safe to release her name. There ain't gonna be no angry mobs that are gonna try and tear her to shreds. Nah, dude, she gonna get the full support of the community. They release this dude's name, they're gonna be street justice, motherfucker. It gonna look like British American History X.
And like I said in the beginning of this video, maybe there is a reasonable explanation for that. I'm not trying to jump to conclusions here.
I'll jump to conclusions. They're very easy to jump to. I haven't been
given that reasonable explanation. There is also a bit more to this story that the BBC didn't report on for some reason. And that takes us to The Independent, where they say
the BBC didn't report on for some reason.
Woman charged with assault after a migrant from Canary Wharf Hotel walked into her flat, quote unquote. Arrests and charges follow protests outside Isle of Dogs Hotel. So that key detail being that she
I want y'all to look at this image right here. There are 3 people on screen if you consider the anime boy. Of the 3 people on screen, only one of them is not a fucking traitor criminal. Because these 2 pigs right here absolutely are.
In fact, charged with assault. The BBC mentioned that she had retained a lawyer, but unless I missed it, they didn't actually mention the assault charge for some reason. Maybe they didn't have that information. I don't know, but that is a bit odd. And so, yeah, that is the other key detail. And then a different situation that just happened that's very odd. We can see
I'm not familiar with this
I
one.
confronted a migrant from a Swindon hotel trying to sit in between 2 old ladies. And I'm going to skip to the part where you can see that they do seem to say that he allegedly was trying to do that, to like sit in between them right there, which, yeah, if that's true, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, weird move, man. There's a bench right there that you could be sitting on, but yeah, apparently he wanted that spot.
You okay? He wants to sit there, does he?
I am glad that these migrants have gotten tired of raping 9-year-old girls and now decided to switch to assaulting elderly women. It's a nice change of pace.
Please.
Let's go from the beginning, though. You can see how this played out, like, right before that happened.
Everything all right, ladies? Is everything okay? Everything okay? Is everything okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you? Right.
Wait, did he also just, like, litter? Did he just litter that can, too? I know it's, like, not as big a deal as, like, what he apparently was doing to these women, but, like, bro, if you're trying to, like, immigrate to a country and you just start littering, like, in the country, it's just disrespectful. Like, bro, what the frick, man? Did you guys catch that? Like, look at the freaking, like, tin in his right hand. Or, like, can, whatever it is.
Ladies, is everything okay? Everything okay?
Bro just drops it.
Okay. Is everything okay?
Okay.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you? Right, mate? How's it going? Don't fucking touch me, boy.
What?
What are you talking to your women for?
Why?
What are you talking to your women for?
I don't know about.
Why are you talking to the ladies? Asking them what?
Why?
Yeah, asking them what?
Pull this way after asking. Pull this way after.
What are you talking about?
You live in here, Bill?
Yeah, I live here, mate, yeah. What are you talking about?
Are you man?
Yeah. Go away. Go away.
Sit there between us.
You okay? He wants to sit there, does he? Do you want me to phone the police? Shall I phone the police? Where you living? Hotel?
Yeah, they would probably arrest that guy, you know, if anything.
Are you the police?
Yes.
Are you fucking?
When I say that guy, I'm obviously talking about the person recording, not the migrant.
Police.
Well, yeah, but Fab, they can't say hell no, they're not okay, because then they'll get arrested for hate speech.
Well, I may as well be the fucking police. Because there ain't no police around here, is there?
You want her to sit there? And
Right, get yourself away from here, bruv. Get
Bruv.
yourself away from me. I'm telling you.
He like, what the frick was that at the end? He's like writing the guy's name, like some Death Note stats at the end. But yeah, these were just two recent examples of the sort of thing that, as mentioned in the beginning of this video, has been causing protests all across Britain. Here is one such example outside, apparently, of one of the migrant hotels.
I notice how white these protests are, which is pretty amazing, because, I mean, I'm under the impression there were no white people left in the UK. Truly a thing of beauty. Now, this might be all that's left of you guys. This is every single member of London right here. This is all the white people left. Bro, I'm gonna headcanon it that if Fab ever stops appearing in my streams, she's been arrested for going to one of these protests.
Looks like these are counter protesters over there. Is it united against, does it say racist again or something? Islamophobia.
Bro, fuck that, dude. These people are traitors. Absolute fucking traitors. Kick them out along with the Muslims.
Anti-Semitism, maybe it says. I'm assuming those are counter protesters. I don't know for sure. And then these guys, let's take a look at their signs.
Not a single one of those counter protesters had a fucking American flag
our children,
or UK flag.
And counter protesters find this to be apparently very racist. Saying protect our children, very racist rhetoric right there. Oh gosh, yeah, you can see some other information there. Yeah. Starmer, I am not far right, just a concerned grandmother. That is a based grandma. You love to see it. And the last thing we'll end with is this article from ipaper/inews.co.uk. I'm not going to read this whole thing. This is just maybe not the best look for someone who's apparently trying to enter the UK, because they say asylum seeker shares videos of guns, then evades Home Office checks to enter UK. The Home Office said appropriate action had been taken after multiple videos of assault rifles and pistols were shared publicly online. And apparently, while this guy, as mentioned, was on his way to enter the UK, going across Europe first to get to the UK, of course, he was like busy posting photos of himself with like guns and money. Here's another example of that.
Very curious as to why he had all these American bills. This is interesting. I mean, this looks like some sort of Middle Eastern currency. This makes sense. Why you got all these American bills? Is it because you're bought and paid for, and this is actually a global effort for infiltration? That would be my guess, if not I want to get tinfoil hat about it.
Like busy posting photos of himself with like guns and money. Here's another example of that. This one with his face blurred though, and you can see it's like trying to show off here or something. Caption saying the Snapchat account documented the man's journey from Yemen via France and Spain to the UK. And then another picture where he's just got his ammunition that he seems to be showing off right here, and a walkie-talkie for some reason. Like, yeah, this is not really the best look for someone who's trying to get asylum somewhere. Really, not a great look at all. Here's one more picture saying assault rifles were on display. We'll scroll up here. You can
assault rifles
take
aren't
a look at that for yourself too. It's another one of his stories. You know, he's very excited to come to the UK. He's just showing off his weaponry. You know, he's trying to make a good first impression here, guys. That's all. A top response about this situation on our UK politics reading, if this guy is an asylum seeker, his case should be canceled and he should be removed from the country. response saying he's probably in trouble with the members of his gang now and is in danger. So he has to stay in the UK forever and have his family shipped over too. That's obviously like memeing around, by the way, but another response saying, we need a government that has its priorities in order. The safety of the British people of all races should be the main.
There's no such thing. I do not believe in the concept of the term assault rifle. Sorry, nah. An M16 is not an assault rifle. Why is an M16 not an assault rifle? Because the term assault rifle does not mean what it used to mean. Therefore, it does not exist. Because the word has fundamentally been changed and altered by anti-gun politicians and lobbyist groups, assault rifles now no longer exist.
Concern for the government. And another
I'll accept machine gun
here saying
but not
best
assault
I
rifle.
can do is on limited migration of welfare-dependent people of dubious backgrounds, and implying anything less is racist.
That's my point,
makes
Matt.
me feel
Yes.
bad at dinner parties. Yes, as we've seen the rhetoric from people who are defending this sort of thing will just label anyone criticizing this stuff as racist or far right. You know how it goes. So yeah, that's the latest. Let me know what you think about these developments coming out of the UK. And as I say when I talk about these things, all the best to my UK viewers, man. Crazy stuff going on. Of course, all the best to everyone, though, in general. And thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed my coverage, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate you. See you in the comments here and in the next one.
Bingo, bango, bongo. There it is, folks. We about wrapped. Man, look at that, bro. The UK is so fucked. UK is so fucked. Excuse my ignorance. I don't know much about guns. But what was an assault rifle then? So an assault rifle would traditionally... So if you got a gun where you were able to hold the trigger, basically the type of machine gun, hold the trigger, and it will continuously rapidly fire. Right? You hold it once. That's what people would traditionally describe as an assault rifle. Whereas any sort of single trigger pull gun was not necessarily an assault rifle. Yes, it had full auto, exactly, or semi. But anything that's semi-auto is not, because you have to for each bullet to leave, you have to press the trigger, which you can still do very fast, but not the same as just holding the trigger and it continuously firing. But that anyway, yeah, the UK is fucked. I'm probably gonna clip this whole last segment to a video, which will be like an hour and a half long video or something, but I feel like it's worth it because this is, I mean, you guys in the UK are going to get in trouble for sharing this shit, so I feel like it falls on us Americans to do it. Not for your sake, but because, we value, I value the idea of freedom regardless of what goddamn country you're from, and also because this shit will bleed into us here in America, because this is a cultural war. It is a cultural war being waged on us by the World Economic Forum, by global governments. I mean, this is literally in the same ballpark as Collective Shout being able to get the world payment processors to censor video games. Why is it in the same ballpark? Because it all boils down to some overarching shadowy body that seems to have some sort of control on everything because they want to force a cultural change. So it becomes something of a buzzword now because of an anti-gun mob. Yes, exactly. That's why bump stock was such a hot topic, because they essentially turned semi-auto into full auto. Yes, correct. But yeah, do what the goddamn hell you want. Exactly. Freedom is freedom is the only way. Freedom is objectively the best thing. Down with monarchies. And frankly, go ahead and subscribe if you agree with fuck Keir Starmer. That's my thoughts on that. Subscribe if you say fuck Keir Starmer. And fuck Justin Trudeau for the hell of it. He's not even in office anymore, but fuck Justin Trudeau as well.